Hey there and welcome back to my channel. This is my week of Serenity where I upload an entire week's worth of videos using just one palette. Today is look number 4 for this week. Check the description box below if you want to find the other 3 looks I've done this week. I also have a few other playlists down there. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I really enjoy playing with eyeshadow, but especially colorful eyeshadow, and I upload several videos every week that are all eyeshadow related. So if you want to see more, you're in a good spot. I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave. Like this video if you enjoy it because, you know, it's good for the channel. And without further ado, let's get going with today's video. Okay guys, let's dive into this 4th look using Serenity. I mentioned that I wanted to do a purple halo eye and put some shimmer on it, so we're going to start with kind of a dense blending brush, and I'm actually going to go into the black shade first. The shadow is called Mystical. I'm going to go in very lightly and put this on my inner and outer corners. I did prime my eyes using the Glam Light Icing Primer, and I'm just laying this down in a small section because I'm going to add purple from here. As we come to the end of this week, I haven't really reached a decision as far as if I'm going to keep this palette. I'm very torn because the palette mattes are beautiful. They are so good. The mattes are so good. And the color story is really interesting. It's really exciting to me. And I'm very, very drawn to those two things. My issue with the shimmers has not really resolved despite using the NYX glitter primer or glitter glue all week long. And despite applying the shimmers with a brush and my finger and trying different methods, hasn't really solved the problem. I'm going to clean off that brush and now go into the purple matte called Pixie and do the same thing only in a larger area. So I'm not sure. The matte formula is amazing. The color story is amazing. I'm just a bit torn. I think I am going to keep the palette because I'm really enjoying it. I'm just not enjoying the way the shimmers, their staying power, you know, how they last throughout the day. But that's not the end of the world. And because this palette is more matte heavy than shimmer, it's about 2/3 matte, that is my preference. And I can easily make an amazing matte look and then go into any of my many other palettes and get some more exciting shimmers or shimmers that pay off or last better. I don't know. For now, I'm going to keep the palette. I'm even still tempted to grab the Muse palette because it's really beautiful as well. I think the color story of Muse is a little bit less unique than the color story of Serenity, but they're beautiful companion palettes for one another. I'm just sort of torn. Have not decided. I have enjoyed this week of Serenity despite the creasing issue because I'm really enjoying the looks that I've gotten, and they look really pretty. Like when you lay the shimmer down at first, it's just got a special sort of sparkle to it that I find very appealing. It's just a matter of whether or not I'm willing to put up with the creasing or willing to keep the palette and pair it with something else and just enjoy the mattes for what they are. And the mattes are good. With a looser blending brush, now I'm taking the shade Awake. And I'm going to put this as kind of a transition color on all of the edges. This is a really pretty periwinkle matte. So I'm putting it on all the edges, and I'm also going to use this to flare out a little bit in the outer corner. I hope you guys have been enjoying this week of Serenity. I know it's such a popular palette, so many people have it. I am hopeful that my looks this week have given you some ideas. If not, then just inspiration as far as take your brushes and dive in, because it is a good time and it performs really well overall. I do want to update my ranking video. So recently I ranked all of my largest palettes, you know, I think it was 16 pans or more, and I put Serenity at number 1 and Wilderness at number 2. Now I have to go back and revisit that given the issues that I'm having with the creasing. I think that it's only fair that Serenity would have to drop down to number 2 and bring Wilderness to number 1, because when it comes to my preference as far as performance and lasting power, Wilderness simply performs better. I think that Serenity has perhaps a slightly more interesting color story. I'm bringing this, what's it called? The Awake shade onto the lower lash line as well, and I'll bring it all the way through. I think Serenity's color story might be a bit more exciting to me, because it's not the more grounded neutral tones, it's got a little bit more whimsy to it. But if we're talking about the whole package, you know, color story and performance and how I enjoy using it, I think that Wilderness would have to go higher simply because of the issues with the Serenity shimmers. I mean, I did that ranking video a while ago because I was doing a lot of pre-filming for when I had my baby. And so now that that ranking video has gone live and I've done an entire week of looks using the Serenity palette, I think it's only fair to update you guys and say I would probably actually drop Serenity down to number 2 and put Wilderness at number 1 because I've had a whole week of slight creasing with the Serenity palette. I'm taking a smudger brush and doing the inner and outer corners of the lower lash line as well with the black and the darker purple matte. I sort of mixed them together. I did also want to say I recently saw Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner. She did a video using Serenity and Muse. It was her first time using cosmic brushes at all. And she mentioned that she did get some creasing. So she's the first other YouTuber I've seen mention it at all. She said she got a little bit of creasing. It wasn't anything major or huge. It was just slight creasing with the shimmers. And I just wanted to mention that because I've said, I think in every video that, like this week, that no one else has mentioned creasing, at least as far as videos that I've seen. And now I officially have heard somebody else mention it, and that was Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner. But for her, the creasing wasn't really a deal breaker. It's just something to be aware of. Now it's time for some glitter glue. I'm gonna take a little bit and put it just in the center of this eye because I'm going to do a bit of a halo eye. So I'm putting it right here down the center column and making sure that I put it high enough into my crease that if shimmer goes up there, hopefully it doesn't crease. Not really banking on that anymore. I do actually want to try a sandwich technique. I know that Katie Marie does this. She'll put down the glitter primer, lay down the shimmer, and then put another layer of the glitter primer. She says it sort of helps stick it in place. So I have not tried that before, and I'm just now remembering it. And I remember that I recently suggested it to a subscriber who was using actual glitter, which I don't really use, but it's definitely worth trying. So I'm going to take my finger and dip into the shade Serenity, which is a blue silver shimmer, and I'm going to place that right here on top of the glitter primer. Ooh, that's pretty. It's not that I don't like the shimmers. I think the shimmers are nice. They're very light. They're not as thick or emollient as Beauty Bay or Glamlight, for example, but they're kind of a unique formula in my collection, and they're very pretty. And I think that they have a super high shine sort of reflect to them. Very, very finely milled. Not as oily looking and not as wet looking as a lot of the other shimmers on the market. I do like the shimmers. I mean, how could you not like this? It looks nice. But my makeup needs to last 14 to 16 hours. I usually do it long before the sun is up, and if I go to bed at between 9 to 11 at night, you know? So that's where I am. I'm going to buff the shimmer in with the brush that I used to lay down the mattes. I'm not putting on additional product. I'm just dragging over a little bit of the matte into the shimmer to help soften that transition, and then I will sandwich with the glitter primer on top of the shimmer and see if maybe that helps. At the end of the video, I will put in a comment on the screen letting you know if the sandwiching technique did help or not. I just have to wait for a while to see if it really does help with the creasing. So just keep an eye out for that note at the end of the video, and I will update you guys before I upload the video and let you know if this sandwiching technique, which I'm doing right now with the next layer of glitter primer, if that sandwiching technique has helped with the creasing, because maybe you're as curious as I am. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go off camera and finish the other side. I'll be right back. Here we go, all is said and done. To finish off the look, I used a waterline color from ColourPop's Creme Gel Liners. This is the shade Champs. It's a deep purple. And then I just put on some mascara, but didn't do anything else in my eyes. On my lips, I'm wearing two shades from NYX Butter Gloss. I've got Cinnamon Roll and devil's food cake. I put a little bit of cinnamon roll, then I topped it with a little bit of devil's food cake, and that's everything on my face. Everything I've used is linked down below in the description box. Remember to check that box for the week of playlist, all the looks that I've done this week using the Serenity palette. My Cosmic Brushes playlist is also down there. I hope you have enjoyed this look. I hope you've enjoyed this video and this whole series in general. I think this look is really pretty. I've liked every look that I've done this week, honestly. I've liked every look that I've done with the Serenity palette. I'm not in love with how the shimmers last on my eyes. Before I upload this video, I will put a note in the video to tell you guys how this sandwiching technique with the glitter primer has worked out for me. Maybe it's helped, maybe it hasn't. I'm curious to see if it will help. So at the time of filming, I don't know, but you guys are going to see a note in the screen letting you know how it's worked. Anyway, again, I've liked this look. I hope you have enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye!